Hey. So streaming again. Yeah, streaming here as part of the kind of showcasing the Off-World Live virtual production shared project, which has been in progress for a little while now. We're just going to be showing another little progress update, and we're also just opening this chat up to everyone in the Off-World Live Discord, where we have lots of awesome discussions about virtual production, versioning technologies, really, and mostly Unreal Engine and Off-World Live plugin led ways of making awesome media. So this week it's just another progress update on our kind of virtual podcast scene. What I've been finding is, well, we basically just found that a lot of podcasts have quite a simple template, actually, cameras wise. They tend to just have like two cameras. So you might have like a camera 1, camera 2 kind of scenario going on. Camera 1, camera 2, and like a kind of 2-shot of both people. And you could potentially have some other shots going on. So we thought we'd replicate this in an Unreal Engine scenario. And this is just another of the kind of template levels that we're giving in this open source virtual production project. And yeah, this is just the kind of podcast template level. So the idea is that you would probably get rid of the chairs in this scene, and you could just swap them out with people sat on chairs who are green screened out. So for your podcast, you could have a kind of green screen with just 2 chairs, maybe a desk, and the two speakers. And then you could have one camera that's filming both people, one camera placed in this kind of position, one camera filming just this person, and one camera just filming this person. And then what you can do is what I'm doing is just pressing the 1 key and the 2 key and the 3 key, and you can just totally trigger that to have change the digital camera movement and the change the real life camera input as well. So just camera 1 would show up, just camera 2 would show up, just camera 3 would show up. So it's a really cool setup, and it's potentially quite it means you don't need any of the kind of camera tracking and things. Hey guys, nice to see a couple of you tuning in. Hey Miranda in the Discord. I'm just going to share my screen in the Discord actually. Thanks Chip K as always, thanks for the support. Yeah, just catching up on where we're at with this podcast setup, and just saying how it might actually alleviate the need for like tracked cameras in kind of virtual studio settings, because you can have camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and those can be real life cameras, and then you could also show and hide those camera inputs as you switch the digital camera position. I want to see how this would work with a shot like this as well, where your real life camera would be capturing both people at once, but then the digital camera is actually moving forwards and backwards, and we're assuming that you're not using tracked camera footage, so it'd be interesting to see how this would work once we get some real world footage in. But just catching up this week really of where we are with this podcast setup. So just saying that it's could actually be quite simple, because a lot of podcasts just have, you know, basically 3 shots. So the actual footage kind of setup could be nice and simple, and then you got room to do some awesome stuff. So you're around here, you could change lighting on button pushes. You'd obviously have to think about the lighting of the actual people as well. Maybe the lighting in your studio would change at the same time as this. So yeah, that's totally doable. Also kind of presets, have things like this. And even make it more extreme as well. I love this one because it's just works with all these physics actors. Loads of fun to be had here. I just think the interesting proposition kind of thing here is that you don't have to be someone like Fox News or massive high production value company to be doing this kind of virtual stage setup kind of stuff. That's the kind of idea here. Get a really convincing podcast going on, virtual podcast, and you know, you don't have to be super high budget. The only kind of inputs and stuff would be kind of 3 camera inputs. It's all down to sort of how you wrangle Unreal Engine. It's such a cool free resource to do a lot of this cool stuff. So yeah, it's kind of like barrier for entry for making these kind of virtual experiences, or making, you know, your own podcast a lot cooler on a small budget. Barrier for entry for making that stuff seems to be narrowing, you know. So yeah, that's why we're making this project, and even lower that barrier even more. And the idea with this is that this is up for free download. So a lot of this stuff that I'm working on, this little LED scrolly kind of thing, for example, all the functionality that I've got here for camera changes and presets and stuff, you're totally free to like tap into this and use it for what you want. Next thing I'm going to do is look at, so I've got all of this on key presses at the moment, but I want it on a HUD as well, so I might do that during this little stream. And then if anyone's got any thoughts, any questions, any stuff to chat about, really, I'm open. Yeah, Chipko. This most recent iteration is not it's not pushed currently, but it's pretty. I think the GitHub's pretty up to speed. I could totally publish this one pretty soon. I just wanted to finish off some things. But when this branch has been merged into main, then yeah, you'll be able to get this most updated version from GitHub. Let's see where we're at on the GitHub at the moment. We've got last week was the last commit, so we got some of the podcast level up ready for download. You can just go to this Off-World Live collaborative off our virtual production, and you can either clone this if you want to clone with GitHub and that, or you can just download the zip file. That should just run after unzipping that. So yeah, pretty up to speed. I'm gonna upload an update soon, but I just want to polish off some bits, really. But yeah, most recent additions include this just little screen scrolling banner type dealio. Just made this really simply just now, just by making a cylinder, making it fairly high poly count, but not too high. Could probably go a little higher with this because in an Unreal Engine you can kind of see the edges a bit more, but it's not. You can see the edges there. It's not the worst. Not the worst. So yeah, literally just a cylinder, and then I just did 2 loop cuts, and then just assigned a material to each of these sections. I haven't really UV unwrapped this part, but this part here I've just UV unwrapped it to the size of an image of this sort of size, which is I kind of wanted to get it like so you could just type any text and then it would come up, but for now I've just used like a texture. So yeah, any 1000 by 77 pixel image it will take. So you know you could load in your own text as an image of the same size, and then it will line up perfectly. And then in here just made this material for it. It's got this upward scroll of this kind of CRT texture. Then it's also got the sideways scroll of the text. Can play around with it, make the size of the kind of pixels bigger or smaller if you want. Where did I have it? Something like that. Emissive strength. Speed at which is flashing from one color to another. So if I make this one black, it'll flash just on and off. You can up that speed. I think you can go higher than this as well. So yeah, speed at which that's flashing, which is nice. Now you can flash between 2 colors because it's just a black and white texture. Yeah, change those colors. Here's what the material looks like. Just threw this together so it's not that neat or anything, but this is the speed, text speed. That's just done by doing a panner for the X and the Y texture coordinate. That's what this mask RNG is. And then putting it back together into a float 2. That's just so you can control the speed X and the speed Y individually. Then that's giving the UV coordinates, so that's what's doing the panning. And then it's just got this texture, which is, this is what you can swap out for your own text. And yeah, you can make it black and white, you could make it colored if you want, but it's then going to run through this, which is the kind of coloring. Thanks, Chipko. Love it. Love the support constantly. They're really good. Love your last video as well. It's amazing. Check out Chipko's last video. Anyone else watching? Awesome concept. Awesomely done. Can't wait to see where that goes. It's amazing how you can generate such an interesting conversation just with an AI just immediately. Really cool stuff. So for this one, what we got is this kind of using this sign, and basically this is just what's saying flash between these two values. So the sign is an input for this alpha channel. So that's just saying flash between these two values. And then you got this flashing speed as a parameter. Emissive strength, simply. And then the CRT texture. Yeah, it's just one I made in Photoshop. And then that's also got its panner, but that's only a vertical panner for this one. I didn't bother splitting out the vertical and horizontal for this version. Could split that out if we wanted to, though. You just have to copy all of this into where this, in between these two. In between these, like there. But yeah, for me, I just want to make the CRT lines go up or down, so keeping them like that. And then all of that is just going into the emissive color. I've just done a specular 0 because I just don't like the kind of shininess from that. I tend to do specular 0 for a lot of things, unless you got an actual specular map. Cool, new episode this weekend from Chipko. I will look forward to it. It's really cool. I think you got really good subject matter as well. There's really good, yeah, really good topics. Yeah, so that was making that one. That was cool. The last thing I just made just before this stream. You can kind of take a lot of that functionality and like add it onto meshes with other UV maps. It's not like super rigidly stuck to just using a mesh like this. That's what I'm using at the moment. The other thing I was figuring out, I want to do this screen. I want to do queuing up different inputs on this screen. I thought that could be cool if you have a couple render targets running. Switch between one and the other as a kind of method of showing different media to the audience. Yeah, like media playing is definitely something I want to do next. But yeah, more recently I did just fixed up some of the queuing for this for this stuff, the kind of presets of the room. I just find this so fun to play with. Sometimes I get this chair in this desk in the middle between the chairs. That's pretty great. But yeah, I was finding this gets kind of tricky. So I've broken it now. Pretty sure. Okay, no, fixed it again. But yeah, because this one does the same thing to the same actors as this one, you have to make sure you're playing it and then returning it back to its original point before you play the other one. So there's just the fact that I'm using sequences and stuff like that is kind of not ideal for this. I'd probably maybe do like actual blueprints instead of sequencing to move the actors around, but sequencing's kind of cool because I've got the queuing system. It means you could make any other sequence you want and it would immediately just work with this button push. That's again like the thinking that I'm going through with making this a shared project. It's like, how can people pick this up? But yeah, the way I figured out how to like queue up all these animations, the most clean and the most kind of modular at this stage, it's like this. I've got the pawn class, so this is what I was taking in my control inputs. And just over here, I've got, these are the lighting ones. So the LK and J keys are just doing the light presets, which is just change color. Whoa there, that was some serious lag. Maybe because I'm full screening it. Let's restart that. Doesn't help that I'm streaming at the same time as doing all of this. So yeah, these are the lighting presets. And they are also on a sequence, so you could do moving, changing, pulsing lights. And then this key is a stop all sequences. So wherever your lighting's at, this will stop it. And you know, so yeah, from this pawn class, just in here, this pawn class is just where I fire off custom events from other blueprints, just to kind of section it off. So this, for one, not in the level blueprint, because if it was in the level blueprint, I wouldn't be able to use this pawn class or any of these controls in any other level. So this is good for keeping it modular. All my controls are in here, so I can just load up any level and open this pawn class, and it's gonna do the same things when I press the same keys, as long as I have these blueprints to call on. It's calling on these blueprints such as animation selector. This does need to be in the level because it's a variable that I've made here, and I'm setting it here. So animation selector. So it's saying like on construction, so like on, not even on begin play, but before begin play. If this pawn class is the pawn class, if this VP pawn is the pawn class, then it's going to do all of these things. And this kind of get active class is the best way I found recently for making blueprints talk to each other. So this pawn class is going to find the actor of class BP animation selector, and then it's going to set a variable. So now I've got a variable here where I can do anything I want with my blueprint animation selector from within here, and that's why I'm from here. You can go, you know, drag off of here and then go key search event. I've got preset, things like that. I've got custom events I can call from that, so that's really cool. Yeah, this animation selector is where the actual functionality is happening. So for lights, I've just got lights 1, lights 2, and lights reset. If you double click that, it will open up the other blueprint. So as I say, because I've done this get all active class. Here's my animation selector blueprint. So basically that get all active class was grabbing that from the level, and then you can do what you want with custom events. So lights 1 is something that I can call from this pawn through the animation selector, lights 1. We'd love to see more 360 content. Nice. Yeah, nice to hear it. What sort of thing? So, trying to think if anything cool's come up recently 360 wise. There's been always people making awesome stuff. I don't know what content would be shareable. Hopefully this guy Bad Radio doesn't mind. Excuse me. Hopefully this guy Bad Radio doesn't mind me shouting out this nice little piece made by him. Most recent one just on the Discord. He's got his kind of streaming studio. Really nice little test. Oh, amazing. don't you, hope you don't mind the shout out then. Oh yeah, I should have noticed from the Discord the same profile pic. Yeah, you indeed did start making some cool stuff. It's really cool. that's brilliant. Yeah, it's just the last thing I saw on the Discord. Yeah, it's really cool. What's the plan with it? What are you up to with it? And how are you getting on with it? Let me know if there's anything you're running into that's tricky. It is just inherently tricky streaming 360 from from Unreal Engine. It's a hardware intensive thing. We're really pushing the boundaries by doing it. So anyone embarking on it is doing some cool stuff. But yeah, it takes certain thinking and certain tricks to get the best out of it. Moving from TD, nice. There's some cool stuff with Touch Designer crossed over with Unreal Engine. You've probably heard of Dan Molnar Function Store. He does some cool stuff with our toolkit and crossing over from Touch Designer to Unreal. He did. Let's see if we can find his tutorial. Yeah, this one, TD Instance UE, really interesting. If you got some Touch Designer background, you might find this really cool if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, replicating these kind of arrays, these kind of particles in Unreal Engine. Don't remember him doing this old of a version. There might be a newer one as well. Yeah, this guy's awesome. Really cool Touch Designer / Unreal Engine stuff. TD has better audio processing. Yeah, I bet Unreal's audio seems so tricky. Just extreme. I guess it's bare bones. It lets you do whatever you want, but it's really starting from scratch with it. Might send OSC to Unreal. Yeah, definitely. Another good one is Sam Schroeder. I was chatting to him a couple of years ago now when I first started interviewing people that were doing cool stuff with our toolkit and stuff, and Sam came straight up. He makes his own little OSC modules to carry over data and things like that. Super smart dude. He's just got mostly these kind of Niagara simulations, kind of audio reactive Niagara simulations and stuff. Seems to be moving back into kind of music recently, so he's been not been uploading loads of stuff, but I know he's working on awesome stuff in the background. Yeah, he is actually using the Unreal sound stuff. Making GABA in Meta Sounds. Love it.
In Meta Sounds. Alright.
Love it. Niagara. Oh, true. That is how it's spelled, isn't it? I was just always like Niagara Falls. Is it like Niagara Falls? Fair enough. Yeah, it's probably going to be imprinted in my brain, for sure. Yeah, I've just been going backwards and forwards with different ways of queuing different animations. This one works really well for playing something and then playing it in reverse. So the just simply doing something like that, where it goes away and then comes back again. What's quite cool about this is that it will take any duration of any sequence. So I could make a animation of any sequence, and Woody, Woody is awesome. Do follow that guy. He's seriously knowledgeable in Unreal Engine. Amazing stuff. A lot of VTubing stuff. Very good. I want to pick his brains on how he got a custom avatar, how he got that rigged up. That's really, really cool. So I'm using like an Unreal and using a MetaHuman template at the moment, but especially with a totally custom character, it's very, very cool. But yeah, what I like about this is this get frame duration thing. So it's going to play to the end of the sequence no matter how long the sequence is. Then you press it a second time, it's going to play it in reverse. I quite like how that's quite nice. I can take any size sequence. And that's what I'm doing for the presets. For the light presets, it's kind of simpler because it's just you press it and it's going to stop any other light sequence that's running. You can set some settings and then play. Set this as the new chosen light sequence and then play. And this stop one is just stopping the chosen one. Kind of simpler. But when it comes to playing and then playing back again, it gets a little tricky. Playing and then playing in reverse. So camera cuts, you can do this sort of simpler one. Light settings, you can do this simpler one. Stuff that's moving from place to place with reversing, it gets a bit more like this. Yeah, that's how I'm kind of working out this at the moment. Yeah, let me know if I mean we're not like putting loads of focus into the 360 stuff at the moment, but let me know if there's anything you want to like find out how to do or anything that's interesting, and like be really down to chat about 360 stuff. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, definitely stop playing in slow-mo and rewinding. Stereoscopic, sure, yeah. I think with stereoscopic it's just a whole it's a whole other load of research and development to do to get it to a good point. Yeah, it's I think we've got a pretty good amount of demand because I've seen a lot of people just coming in and asking, and I can totally see the appeal of making VR content. I think it's really obviously really important to pay some attention to, but I think it's like a big investment. It's a big investment of time and effort. Totally on the cards though. I don't know exactly what the maths is that goes into it, but I'm sure it's one of those where it just unravels and gets more and more complex to really do it justice. But hopefully on the cards. Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally. That's quite cool. That's quite a cool idea. Like remote control instead. Like have a. I guess it's just online games really at that point, isn't it? The 360 video side of things is really cool because it's like you can just upload it to YouTube. You don't need to download anything or have a special game running. So that accessibility is awesome. But yeah, you can just make an online game. I was looking at making online games and it's quite funny. You have to go back to version like 4.27 or 4.26 to have anything that's supported. I think I'm going to give it a go soon. little online game stuff. It's weird though. Yeah, they stopped supporting direct export of Unreal Engine projects, like packaging for HTML. They stopped supporting it a few versions ago. Some people are still running it in a GitHub, but it's just documentation is all over the place. Seems fun though. But yes, stop playing in slow-mo, rewinding. Yeah, people talking pixel streaming, aren't they? Yeah. But it's a different thing, right? Isn't it? It's like cloud-based. Running someone else's servers. Yeah. I guess it could be a route to. I guess it probably allows for bigger games, running bigger games. I guess maybe they hit a point where they were like, right, we're hitting like insanely big games all the time now. Anyone only wants to make massive games, so let's do it with like a cloud-based thing. Kind of makes sense. You don't want like when you go on like an online game, you got a massive loading bar before you can even get on it. For me, when I'm making my like personal stuff, I like doing like PS1, Sega Genesis style games. So the payoff with that is that they're already pretty optimized because all the textures are tiny and everything. Yeah, exactly. If people want to make games with hundreds of gigs flying around, then it looks like a good route, I guess. Yeah, my personal Insta is let's just do this carefully. See, I do a lot of 3D design and stuff, and stepping into game dev stuff in my kind of personal work, but it's still like commissions and stuff. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, this is the personal Insta. Just Jasper.Golding. Just docs myself, but thanks for the interest. Yeah, you can see my more personal stuff here. This was early game dev stuff, working out some jump and grab and front flip kind of mechanics. So this is like whenever I'm doing a personal project, it's all within this world. Yeah. And it kind of replicates the city I live in. And yeah, kind of looking at getting people to bring in music and stuff from like the local scene. And yeah, this is sort of the development, the solo dev journey that's going on with this guy. Yeah, I'm thinking PS1 style, but has its own thing going for it. All of this is like AI generated and stuff, so that's quite funny. Yeah, I like to do PS1 style, but then keep the dynamic lighting and particles and stuff. But yeah, enough of that. Thanks for following. It's really cool. To answer your question, if you are still here, Original 9, so pausing and playing and rewinding is a really good point. I do want to make a bit of an interface for this, but basically you can just search. So if I go through here, there's a lot of stuff you can do here with you've got like play 2. Say I've got a sequence that I've kind of defined here. So yeah, you got stop. You got play 2, which is it will pause at the frame number that you kind of specify. I think you got pause. You got set play rate. So if you set that to -1, that's rewinding. Another one I found that was really cool. What was it, like movie settings? Oh, I hope I haven't lost that one because that was really useful. I didn't use it in this most recent iteration, but so yeah, when you got this create level sequence player, yeah, you get this settings. If I promote that to a variable. Well, yeah, there's one place that you can set all the settings here. It's got everything here. That's pretty cool. But there's a node for this as well. It's like movie sequence settings. But yeah, basically just wrangling nodes, and just finding nodes that come off of these kind of sequence. These kind of sequence nodes is the best way to handle all of that stuff. Yeah, I would love to get a bit of a like classic playhead with like forward and back. There is also this scrub, which I find really intriguing. The fact that there's a scrub. It looks like there's nothing coming off of it. There's no like target, or target is sequence player. But is that like something where you can make it move along the timeline forwards and backwards? Because I think that's a really cool thing you could do, because you could have a sequence that progresses based off of like an input, like a float input. So you could like scrubbing animations. Just for me, just sounds like it unlocks loads of cool stuff. No, thanks so much for the interest, Paul. It's really cool. Honestly, just riffing really in these streams. Just trying to make sure I answer any questions that are going on, but yeah, no, it's honestly just nice to have a couple people hanging in here, and yeah, honestly, no stress. Yeah, I want to know what that scrub thing does, because I really want to be able to control exactly where I am at playheads, you know. Yeah, take it as it comes. So, Unreal Engine documentation being useful as usual. Time in seconds. I guess scrub being the key word. How to scrub.
On the UE4 forums and whatever video game I happen to be playing at the time. You might catch me in Fortnite. Maybe. All right,
Easy glitching. Yeah, that's a good point.
I've done a video, so I thought I would.
I just think it's awesome because you can control you can control movement so precisely at runtime if you can scrub. I think it's really cool. It's like, you know, when you got like Mario Party games or something, and you have to tap A really quickly, and then the animation only plays based on the rate at which you're like tapping A. You know, not exactly that, but something like that would be really cool to implement.
You're worried about how this crane is going to
Obviously not in this virtual production setting, but virtual production wise, you could have like a camera sequence where the camera is like going from like here to here, and then controlling that on a scrub. That'd be mega cool, I think.
up a blank level. So first things first, so they're able
I can't even
to
tell if this is what I want. Oh yeah.
surrounding structures and everything like that. So they're
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to see how
That's like exactly what I want to do.
the sequence that it'll go in. So it's pretty handy.
See, I'll probably go away and just study this for a bit. Might see this as the next addition to the shared project. Just lifting some tutorials. I really think with some scrubbing logic, gotta be like, it's a get play length. Gotta be so much you can do with this once you understand this kind of scrub. Yeah, I'll let you know how I get on with that. Thanks for tuning in again. Super nice to have some people hanging out, and yeah, feel free to yeah, jump in with any questions every week. Doing this every week, and yeah, thanks for hanging.